everybody, and welcome to the WDW News Today Podcast. My name is Eric Morton, and with me today is our temporary permanent co-host, Nick LoCicero.
Hi, everybody.
Nick, it is great to have you again.
Yeah, people keep saying that that they like me as a fill-in for Tom, so I will stick around as long as you need me.
3 episodes.
I didn't think I'd make it this long.
No.
This is crazy.
The suits have not gotten wise to our scheme.
And I've showed up pretty much every time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
We want to also thank the WIGS who are joining us live in Discord right now. The WIGS get to watch us record this live and interact with us a little bit. If you want to learn more about being a WIGS member, you can go to patreon.com/WDWNT or, as we say, WDWNT.com/Patreon. It's kind of idiot proof. You can do it either way.
Yeah.
As long as you can spell WDWNT and Patreon.
Or you could go to Google and just type in WIGS and you'll get taken right to our page, right?
Either way,
yeah,
I'm cool with any of it.
Google WIGS.
We're glad that you're here. There is a lot going on. The last week has been crazy.
Sure.
Not for you?
No, it's been pretty mundane for me, but thank you.
Oh, man. I have my sister in town.
Well, like I said, without, when there's no news tonight,
yeah, I
disconnect a little bit from the Disney community. I'm not as, in the veins of it. So I don't know if you're talking about Disney was crazy or just life, but no, I had a pretty relaxed week. I know you had your sister in town, so you were going all over the place, right? Like showing her new things, right? That she hadn't done before. Man.
Oh, we did Hoop-Dee-Doo. She'd never done Hoop-Dee-Doo review.
Yeah. How did she like it?
She's like a critic too, right?
Yeah.
She's a critic, and she loved it. Her only criticism is too many people have birthdays and anniversaries. It does go on for a minute.
It does. Yeah.
No, we had a blast. We sat, the only seats available were in the balcony.
I like the balcony.
I've never done it. And it's probably my 4th Hoop-Dee-Doo I've been to.
Okay.
Over the course of 15
30
years. Right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You face backwards when you sit upstairs. We're like along the side.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So you face backwards away from the stage to eat, and then you have a spinning chair and you just rotate around a while. It works perfectly.
I like it. Yeah, I like it up there. I watched it up there a couple times. I've probably been to about 5.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I went to another one quite recently, and what's interesting is it's a different cast every time, right? And sometimes you're like, oh, I remember that guy from last one or whoever. And this time, it was almost all new people. Or not new people, but people that I hadn't seen in the most recent. I went recently, a few months ago. And thinking, oh, man, not going to get that. Remember that one girl was so funny? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, they were awesome. They were incredible.
That's great.
They're all great. The people that are the performers in that show are fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell they have a passion for it. They want to entertain. They want to do this. They know it could be hokey, corny, but they buy fully in, so the audience buys fully in. I love that show. It's one of those Walt Disney World treasures like that. Just I go to every couple of years just to kind of re-experience it, and it's I always talk about the campground being my favorite resort. I know they made some changes that aren't the best for long time visitors of that campground, but I still love the place. I still love going and walking around there. Just was there a couple of weeks ago, literally just to hike around. I go there just when I want to walk around, be outside. Hoop-Dee-Doo is one of those things that is just that is, one of those original Walt Disney World concepts that I hope they keep it around for as long as we can, So it's to me that's as ingrained with Disney World as some of the original 71 attractions, Yeah.
Got my first look at the new cabins.
Yeah.
Let me say this.
Okay.
There's been a very strong reaction to these cabins.
Yeah.
They're bad. I mean, I think they're bad, but I don't think they're as bad as the concept art looked. I think in person, I saw them and I was like, well, all right, and it's DVC, right? So DVC, people feel very strongly about some of the recent DVC projects. These cabins, and obviously the Polynesian tower that people don't like. I think these look better in person than I thought they would look, but I still enjoy, even though the old one. Look, the old ones. What do we lose? We're losing trailers, right?
right.
But the look and feel of them it made you feel like you were in a special place. And I'm not a professional in terms of going around to campgrounds around the world, but this has to be one of the more rare campgrounds in the United States, of places where there's just a million of these with cabins and activities and these places. I realize there's probably people in our audience who maybe are full-time RV people or spend the summer doing it. They're like, oh, no, this one in, Tuscaloosa, Florida, or whatever, wherever is better. But I just think, like, the size, it's so hard to find a plot of land that big that's close to a lot of things to do that also has, all of these amenities. And I think Fort Wilderness is really special, and every change they make to it, you feel a little bit threatened, right? You're like, we're one step closer to that straw that's going to break the place.
Yeah. And
people want to defend it. There have been a lot of changes made to Fort Wilderness recently, and a lot of people don't like them. And hopefully, Hoop-de-Doo stays.
Yeah. So I think of Fort Wilderness Campground kind of like the Disney Cruise Line. Mm-hmm. Because I did a lot of camping growing up. We, throughout from birth to when I went to college, we went camping multiple times every year. So I've seen a lot of campgrounds all over the East Coast. There are some that have amenities similar to Fort Wilderness, where they have kind of cabins, where they have campground spaces, where they have a lot of recreation for stuff to do. There are plenty of campgrounds that literally have no real organized recreation. It's just, hey, we have a swimming pool, we have a place for you to set up your camper or tent. That's it. You're out in nature. That's what we're here for. I think Fort Wilderness to me is there are probably better campgrounds as far as being a campground.
Right.
Just like I know there's better cruise ships for being a cruise ship, but I think you get the Disney feel of when you go into Fort Wilderness, because you have the people who decorate their campsites. That's a huge part of it. Like, the people who come and stay there actually bring a lot of the atmosphere with them.
Correct.
Because they decorate their campsites, all that fun stuff. And then you have the Disneyfied events and different things like that, and theming and stuff. What my fear is that, they slowly start to take some of that stuff out that makes it special. I have no problem wanting to upgrade those cabins.
Yeah.
They're kind of shabby inside. They're old, they're shabby. Upgrade them. But the outside aesthetic should still be that woodsy, homesy look. Wilderness look, right? And so that's my main problem. You can do whatever you want inside. It's the outside that should still have that wildernessy feel.
I feel like over the course of its life, Fort Wilderness has established its own culture amongst the people that go there that's very distinct and powerful, and has a certain allure. You talk about people decorating, the golf cart parades. All these are kind of homespun things that where it's like the guests are creating a lot of magic there. And I feel like you're upsetting the balance with the DVC stuff. Look, a lot of that culture comes from people that are staying in RVs, though. So some of that will hopefully remain. I'm like you. I like that wilderness feel. I don't like the kind of tiny house nation look of the aesthetic that they have embraced, shipping container type of thing. I get it, right? We live in a world where that's something that is very Instagrammable. Like, people like that stuff. I feel like also they let in light in a certain way, the way that those roof lines are angled, that it should be different depending on which way the cabin is facing, right? If you want to have the same experience, some people are going to be flooded in light all day long. Some people are going to be in the shade. I don't know. I feel like you never know what you're going to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm really jealous of the people that are the old timers that have been doing this for a long time, that do this with ease and integrate it into this Fort Wilderness culture, because I think it seems like it's a blast. I've stayed there a couple times, but not the way I want to do the rent an RV, sleep in the RV for a week and just work from home and have my dog and all that kind of stuff. I want to do that. Probably in November I'm going to try to do that. But now with the Reflections project seemingly back on or something.
Yeah.
Lots of piles of dirt, lots of people ready to step in. When Fort Wilderness is not able to monetize the experience enough, that Fort Wilderness will be happy to say, come in, take our cabins, move DVC in here. And DVC's like, yeah. And then next thing you know, you have another paywall up to this experience, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's reason to be concerned. I was concerned with the renovation of the horse area. I think the ranch, I think that came out good though. I like kind of the modernization of that. It doesn't look too out of place. I still like it. I think that area did need to be cleaned up a little bit. Let's be real. And I think they did a good job of that. I like that they keep the horse ranch part up front because that, they still have the horseback riding and stuff. So you still have that kind of feeling of, kind of being out in nature. Trails End obviously hurt pretty deeply because I think food is okay there, but I just think they turned it into a lesser experience. But that said, I feel, look, there was a business decision. I feel it made it easier for them to shovel food in and out of there and get people, serve more food. People wanted more of a quick option. They never had a great quick option. They had that little area there, but I think it's probably a good thing. I like the revamped Crockett's Tavern. I actually really enjoyed that a lot. The seating area is great. The food's good. So, I'm not dissatisfied. I'm not one of those people saying, I've heard people say I'll never go back because I made these changes. I'm not one of those people, but you could, the cabins do rub me the wrong way just because of the exterior, but everything else, look, I think Hoopty will kill me. Hoopty will be a dagger in my heart if that goes away. Because I just think that's intrinsically tied to an original, 1971 resort that is part of the history, and I think it's still charming. I think people still love it. I think it still has a place. It's still packed all the time, right? Yeah. I think the reservations are always packed.
I've said before that Fort Wilderness, in many ways, is the one place at Disney property that really feels like you're on vacation, like what a traditional family vacation may have been 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, right? Where people, they go out into nature and they relax. And you can go to Fort Wilderness and fill your days with activities and fun and recreation and never go to a theme park, or you can use it as your base of operations to hit all the parks and slam it all down, right?
Yeah.
You do either way. I just feel like the other resorts feel a little bit more connected to the park experience where you're staying is sort of just, a pretense for theming to get you into the mood to go to the parks.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people love a lot of these Disney resorts. I love plenty of them. I just feel like Fort Wilderness is that one that really, to me, a vacation is when you relax. And sometimes going and slamming parks with your family is not relaxing.
No, I know. I also love the idea of I have to take a boat to get back to the mainland, to get back to civilization. Like I know you don't have to. You could bus over to the parks, but if you want to go to the Magic Kingdom, even if you want to go to Epcot, get on the monorail and go to Epcot, you kind of have to get on the boat, do the journey. It's really relaxing. It's really nice. I will say as well, there's all kinds of activities you could do around Fort Wilderness, including the kind of off-the-record ones, like searching for the old railroad tracks.
Yeah.
There's still a few spots where there's still, can be seen. One is pretty readily available. One of the campsites. The other is kind of way off the beaten path. One of the most fun times I ever had there a few years ago, I actually took like a Google map and then overlaid the railroad track over it and was able to hike the entire loop, of the old railroad track. Because you could actually do most of it. Some of it you have to go a little off the beaten path for. It's very overgrown, but that's where some of the coolest tracks are too. It was a fun experience. And it was pretty cool to do because you could actually kind of reach pretty much every piece. I think there was just one piece that was kind of inaccessible because it was like on the other side of a river, like a little stream, and there used to be a bridge there. There's no bridge there anymore, so we really couldn't get across.
Yeah. I feel like the next time they struggle, DVC will be standing by again to be like, we'll buy that part up. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Like that's what they do, right?
Yeah.
And so DVC is kind of the villain in a lot of people's eyes for what this is. I realize DVC is a product that a lot of people love, but also DVC are the ones who are coming in and making most of the unpopular decisions around when it comes to the resorts and hotels around Disney. The Polynesian, very unpopular. Doesn't mean that Polynesian is not going to sell out almost immediately.
Oh, it will.
Because it probably will, right? In a time when they still haven't sold out Aulani, they'll sell out the Polynesian pretty quick.
Well, location, right? I mean, it's an attractive buy for people, no matter what it looks like to us. People who, I'll see. I'm reserving judgment a little bit, but it bothers me a little bit. I do hold some things probably more precious than I should, and one of them is kind of that Bay Lake, the kind of skyline, if you will, of Bay Lake and the look. So, but we'll see how it blends in once it's complete. I mean, I obviously can see what it looks like now. It looks like a big block in the sky, kind of like we shook our fists at the Guardians building at Epcot, kind of being a little bit of a eyesore in that, when you look at kind of just the general aesthetic of the park and the area. And one of my favorite things is to just ride around the lake on the boats and kind of hang out in that area, and it's gorgeous. So it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me. It really doesn't. It doesn't. And same with the cabins. I'll tell you this, like the cabins, as you know, because you went over there, I mean, they're kind of offset. If you want to enjoy the camping part of it and all the recreational activities, you never have to go on those loops down where the cabins are. It's not like they're intrusive on the rest of your experience there.
Yeah. And I mean, the original concept for Walt Disney World, on Seven Seas Lagoon, there were going to be more resorts. There was going to be more to do and more capacity for guests. I don't have a problem with that. It just happens that my favorite places to stay, none of them are on that monorail loop. None of them are on Seven Seas. Now, you go over to, obviously, Bay Lake and all this with Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge. Those are probably both in the top 3 or 4 on property for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
Fort Wilderness.
Right.
And when you're talking DVC, I love Old Key West, which is the original DVC property. And they built that before they realized they could make those units about half that size and make the same amount of money.
Right.
So I really like those 3.
Yeah.
Even like I really used to not like Saratoga. We would stay there a lot. That was like, is the DVC you could book. And now I kind of like, with the remodel and with more stuff going on at Disney Springs and for the drone show and stuff, it's kind of, it has some appeal to it. So some of those, I don't know. Usually, with the exception of Fort Wilderness, I want a place with 1 bus stop. But I make exceptions for Saratoga at Old Key West. Your 9 bus stops, right? All that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I like the meandering properties a little bit. It feels a little more special. Yeah,
Saratoga. I like the aesthetic there. I like. I think they have one of the more underrated, like, hidden lounge gems, the Turf Club. I've always had a great bartender there, like one that was happy to accommodate and make really good drinks. I don't get there nearly enough because there's no reason to ever really go to Saratoga that often. But they actually have like small bites that are really good too, and it's just like little charming. Like, it reminds me of literally like an old golf club resort that they forgot to update from the. Well, I know it is, and it has that aesthetic. I know that's what it is. But it's like it really, it's almost like they forgot to update that area, and I hope they never do. It's like it feels very stuck, like 20, 30 years ago. Like the little kind of. Are you talking about the bar, like the half door bar, and like sitting in the living room? Oh yeah. It's a whole vibe. Because then, it's been a little while, but isn't out back isn't there like a screen porch out back? Isn't that a? There is in the dining room. Okay, where people that's eat, right. And then below there is the pro shop for Lake Buena Vista Golf Course. Yeah, and then there's a abandoned swimming pool back there too. Did you ever notice that? I think it's still there. Really? I think it's dug out cement. Like you could still, it's there. It's drained, but it's an abandoned swimming pool. Yeah.
I guess I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
Usually I'm ready to snap my golf clubs in half when I finish a round of golf there. That last hole has my number.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, I want to get back. We can get back to talking about Fort Wilderness. I just think there are certain places, like a lot of the high-end places are for people who are used to staying in high-end places, right?
Yeah.
So while I love certain things about the Contemporary, there's nothing in there that makes me feel it's premium other than its location. Mm-hmm. Poly is probably the most close to its original design until the towers were added and they got rid of the Spirit of Aloha show,
yeah.
which is a big bummer.
That was big, yeah.
I mean, when you think about what you give up to get something, you gave up that show.
I think, that's one of those original beloved resorts where I think up until now, I would say most people love the updates. I think the update to the pool area, the update with Trader Sam's, all that stuff, I think people really liked. Well, okay, never mind, because people, that is one where they kind of, I'm okay with the bungalows, but I know a lot of people weren't when they put in the bungalows, and that area, which was a nice area to just kind of go out on the beach and chill in, now became an exclusive area and for, guests, and it kind of, I don't, to me, again, that's one of those things where it's kind of skin off my back. I don't think that detracted. I know some people think that detracted from some of the aesthetic by putting those out there. I don't see that. I think I like them. I think they're pretty neat.
I mean, the world has changed too, right? When the Polynesian originally opened, there was a wave machine out on one of the islands so you could surf.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop the erosion and they ended it. And of course, people used to sail and putt around on boats and all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. The thing I don't like, and WWNT rented a bungalow for an event for the WIGS for the 50th anniversary. So while I didn't stay there, I was in charge of kind of hosting two different parties there on consecutive nights. They're very nice. Yeah. I think they're awesome. But aesthetically, what you expect to see with an overwater bungalow is more like something in the Maldives or something like that, where this crystal blue water and this kind of beachy vibe. And it's kind of just this brown water, it doesn't look tropical because you're not getting that real kind of beach vibe.
But that's the thing. You're trading that for the Disney skyline view, right? You can see the castle, you can see Grand Floridian and the whole lake. It's more of a lake aesthetic than a tropical beach aesthetic as far as the water goes. I get what you're talking about, but I love them. I mean, I've been in them a few times, and I look, I think they're cool. I know a lot of people had issues with those, but I think for the most part, until this big, the big giant tower, I think people have been pretty okay with a lot of the changes there.
So I think what they could do with the overwater bungalows is do one of those massive crystal lagoons. Like I said, they have one in Wesley Chapel, which is near Tampa. They have one now at Evermore, very close to Walt Disney World. And they are massive, multi-acre, chlorinated, like clear blue. Mm-hmm. They're basically like, picture a swimming pool if a swimming pool were 100 times the size of an Olympic pool or something like that. Right? They're these massive complexes. I think that would be cool to put the overwater bungalows on. If those people that are staying there, they're paying a lot of money though, they probably don't want like random people swimming under their
house. You definitely don't. But, so I mean, aesthetically that'd be nice, but I don't think you'd want people swimming around your bungalow.
No, you make a private area. You make a private area there just for the people staying there, but then you extend it, via rope or whatever, extend that area to more like along that beach area that's no longer able to be accessed. Mm-hmm. And you have an area, and you can still avoid the ferry boats and all that kind of stuff from the Magic Kingdom transportation, right? Keep it in it. I think that would look cool. Sure. I think that would be fun. I don't know. Maybe it's a dumb idea, but it's not my money.
The only I think flaw I could see in that, I mean, besides many, is some of the, like, I think wherever you delineate the line between the new pool and the original lake, I think it's going to look weird.
Yeah, you'd have to put a weird wall, or the crystal lagoon portion would have to be elevated higher up than the lake.
You know what you do? You put they just put up a screen, like they did for the safaris at night.
Yeah.
Put up a screen with a tropical like backdrop on it, and that kind of plays, and they could do sunsets and sunrises and stuff on the screen, and they could be DVC could be totally isolated. A bubble, just put them in a dome. How about that? Just do a
DVC dome.
Let's do a sphere, like a Vegas sphere. Put it over the bungalows.
Now you're really on to something.
Totally enclose them. Give them their own environment. They can wake up every day and, like, by majority vote, they can vote what they want the screens to look like that day.
You think that people hated the harmonious ring? Imagine how much people would hate a giant dome where it blocks all outsiders from being able to see, like, Cinderella Castle.
Oh, that would be so great. That would be so great.
That's amazing.
Then we could have U2 play there. Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, so my sister's in town. So, like I said, we did the hoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Last night we went to Scat Cats for her first time. Actually,
Yes.
a couple people with us their first time. I've been 4 or 5 times now since in the last, like, couple months.
It's great. Yeah. Okay. So
They switched it up.
what?
There's
what?
so I always thought it was kind of the same formula, right? You have the band come in, they start playing at 7:30. And there's, a piano player, a drummer, a bassist, and a singer.
Right.
And every time I've been, it's been that. And the singer is fantastic. He's like super low-key singer, right? And then you're like a couple songs in, you're like, he's really good.
I've always had a female singer the past 5 or 6 times.
No, so last night they had the singer was a saxophone player. So he's playing sax a lot of times and then singing occasionally. And I thought it's great. It gets a little loud.
So is it solo? Or do they have back?
No, they had the band. They had the whole band.
Okay.
Except the singer for the band was a saxophone player.
Okay.
And I thought they're great. It was great. It can get a little loud in there after a while. You're like, okay. Like,
It is loud, for sure.
But no, I think that's definitely going to be a stop in the future for us to keep going to. That place is awesome.
I'd be happy to join you. I love that place so much. All right, food and drink. Did you have food?
Yeah, we got barbecued wings and some kind of dip with spinach artichoke, cheese dip with chips thing.
Did you say it's any good?
Yeah, I thought it was very spicy.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I think it was okay.
All right, because we talked about this last time. I was very
I know
upset.
we talked
Food
about you were
changes.
upset about
loaded potato barrels.
Yeah, you're talking about that. And we think that was replaced maybe by the gumbo poutine, which I did not get.
Well, they also have chips that are loaded with pork and stuff.
That's the andouille nachos.
Andouille nachos.
We didn't get those. But I will say this. When the wings arrived, they had fries with them. The fries somehow managed to get below room temperature.
Oh, no.
I don't know how you do that, but there's some cold fries. But no, I enjoy the place, though. I really enjoy the vibe there.
Something happened there. Something happened with their kitchen. Even the changed menu. Like I obviously don't like when something I really love goes off a menu, but I've had under par actual tasting food experiences there lately. I don't know. So, important question. Did anyone in your group order a Sazerac?
No.
Oh, okay. I need to know how they're made because the last couple I've had,
Not good.
no. Yeah. Do they have a good bourbon?
Well,
bourbon
I don't like
selection there?
Sazerac.
No, you like straight bourbon, right? I mean, that's what you're getting, right? Did you get any? Did they have a nice selection?
I just drank beer.
Okay.
I had one beer.
Because I don't know what kind of selection they have there. Not normal.
It's okay. It's okay. It's
Same
not bad.
as okay.
Yeah, I don't know. There are certain flavors in Sazerac that I just.
Yeah, you don't like that. The absinthe.
Yeah, absinthe is one of those. It's licorice.
Yeah.
I don't like black licorice.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then you're not gonna like Sazerac. Yeah. All right.
So.
No worries.
Unfortunately, there's plenty to do. The other big news is today we released the first POV footage, our first POV footage of Tiana's Bayou adventure.
Yeah. Talking about New Orleans food.
We're just keeping with the New Orleans.
There we
theme,
go.
right?
Yeah.
We have
good
look,
segue.
The
Eric.
haunted haunted mansion.
How many podcasts have we done? That was your best segue yet.
30, I don't know.
I shouldn't have called it out. Oops.
Haunted mansions under construction in Disneyland. There's some New Orleans news.
Yeah.
Tiana's Bayou Adventure under construction there. More New Orleans news. And Tiana's Bayou Adventure here at the Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
We released our first POV footage of it. And I will say this. The people, Disney released POV footage of it too.
Okay.
And people said our video is better. Disney's was like they
course.
mounted a camera on the front of the boat and like, I guess I didn't even watch the Disney one, but people are telling us that ours is better. So
Nice.
there you go. I'm into the little minutia of that, because I would have thought that Disney was discouraging filming. Maybe they decided they just can't stop it, because I think they wanted to control the narrative until the media event, right? This is a big deal for them. So I figured they would have been like, keep it all under wraps, and then they have the previews, and then there's the media event kind of in the middle of all the previews, and then look at this, and then it all comes out at the same time. That gives them time to sort of set the tone of what this is going to be. And they decided to just they're like, cast member previews are on, and they're telling the cast members, not only are you allowed to film on a ride, but we encourage it. So they're like, just get it out there, right? Yeah. Dig a little deeper in your pocket, get your camera out. And so we saw it, and we have a video that we're going to be launching that is a side-by-side comparison of what Splash Mountain was compared to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and people can decide on their own what they think. I'm just glad that we're close to having another big kind of e-ticket ride back in operation at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, same. Do you mind if I give some thoughts on the video? Are we cool with that?
Yeah, give your thoughts. I want to add the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Nick has not ridden it yet.
No.
Neither have I.
No.
I will be riding it in the next few days. So our impressions are solely based on the video, and it's probably not fair to just judge it on a video, because there's a certain feel that you get when you're on a ride that could be different.
Yeah, no, and I'm not even gonna rate it or give it a review. I just have some thoughts. My first thought was, every time I go through that queue, I'm gonna be hungry.
Yeah,
it's food. All food. And do we have any reports if they're pumping in smells in the queue?
Beignet smells, maybe.
That would kill me. They can't do that to us, can they? Waiting in a line for whatever time it's going to be, I can't do that if they're going to be pumping in food smells, because it's already all the food ingredients and kitchen and stuff, and it looks so good.
You know what I would do if I were Disney? You set a beignet stand up in the exit.
Yes.
Like in the exit queue area. Forget selling PhotoPass and all that crap. That little area. And then, when you finish, when you go down the last drop, and then it takes a while before you get to the finale scene, and it takes a while to actually get off the boat, that's when you start pumping in the beignet smell. And you make people all hungry for it, and they're stuck on this log for just an extra couple of minutes. It's not long enough to make you crave it the whole time you're in the line. It's just long enough for you to go, I got to get that.
I'm going to take that a step further.
Yeah.
Put menu ordering screens in the logs that turn on when you get to that spot, so you can mobile order your beignets right from your log, and they're ready for you when you get off the log.
Disney doesn't do that anymore. Everything's on your phone. You're just going to have to use your phone.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so you had that thought. Food.
I had that thought. One part that I really liked was the old Laughing Place spot where you're being shrunk down now in Tiana's ride, and you're kind of small, and then you're seeing all the different animals like frogs and stuff, and all the food boxes and things like that look giant size to you. So you're shrunken down, kind of I guess a Ratatouille type thing. I like that. I like, where they had, so far, it looks like they have cool usage of video screens where it kind of makes sense. I kind of liked where it showed Tiana, a large Tiana peeking into that area. Like she was looking through the brush. That looked really cool. And, we've all seen the videos of the animatronics for a long time now. So those were no revealed surprise, but they looked great in place where they were. And, I'm really excited. It makes me even more excited to ride it. I was already very excited. I think, I can't wait to see how I feel with the aesthetic of the Bayou when we're in that area. Again, on video, it came across as pretty good. It looked like a decent scenery change. It looked dramatic enough of a change. Yeah. And I'm mostly talking about that first part where you're after the loading area where you go up and then come out and kind of are going around the mountain. That looked pretty good from the video.
People are saying maybe the water's a little too brown, the authenticity went a step too far. The water looked a little bit more brown than it should. I didn't.
Is that I noticed that too. Is that a on purpose thing?
It's a bayou.
So they purposely made the water brown.
I have to see it. On video, it looks like it was more
very
brown than the Splash Mountain water.
Oh,
right?
totally.
And I don't know how they accomplished that, if they just painted the inside
bottom.
of the flume like a different color, or if there's actually some sort of tint added to. I don't think there's any tint added to the water. But it definitely looks more.
That'd be weird because it's going to
muddy.
get in your clothes. Like they're not
Right.
adding anything to the water.
Right.
But
It looks a
I
little
noticed
muddy.
that. They probably painted the bottom. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people were asking, "Where's Dr. Facilier?" And the answer I've heard is these events take place when Facilier is no longer in the picture. Tiana and Naveen are living together somewhere in a bayou, and there's no more Dr. Facilier because it takes place after the events of the movie.
So that is one thing. I didn't even think about Dr. Facilier, but one thing did strike me as far as storyline goes. There's no antagonist, right? Like there's no I'm trying to get away from something. There's no somebody trying to stop me from doing anything. It's I'm riding through Tiana's foods. I'm seeing how things are made. Everybody's happy. Everybody's having a good time. There's no struggles on this ride, right?
No arc.
There is no arc. Yeah. There's no, hey, we're sending you out here to go get food. And then, somebody's in your way and you got to get her. There's no struggles. It's really just a nice, peaceful, kind of brings me back to like Navi River journey to a degree because there's no, struggles there either. It's just a peaceful ride through the Navi River, where I think this is just a peaceful ride through Tiana's foods and seeing how they're collecting their food, seeing them have fun, little vignettes.
You're going to a party.
I liked it.
The stories you're going to. It's the
I kind of liked it.
It's the rock and roller coaster story.
Ha!
It's the It's the Fast and Furious supercharged story. Hey, everybody, we're going to a party.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, who is shrinking you to the size of a frog?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't remember the Mama.
Mama Odie.
Odie. Yeah. So that part's the part where you're going down into the laughing place where Brer Rabbit was above and like laughing and stuff. Now she's up there and she's like sprinkling something on you to make you small or something. I couldn't really tell from the video exactly what was happening, but she was like, she did something and there was an effect, and then you went down the hole, and when you came out the other side, everything was giant.
So is she the antagonist?
No, she was. No, it wasn't in a negative way. She was very happy.
Shrinking you for fun.
For fun, to show you, hey, come and see what's going on in here. And then she makes you big again right before you go up the lift hill.
She appears a few times in video form and a few times.
Correct.
And then once as an animatronic.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the laughing place, if that it went by so fast, I couldn't tell if it was an animatronic. So you're saying that was probably a video screen?
I think so.
Because she's definitely an animatronic at the top of the end lift hill.
Yeah.
And there's a video screen of her right before that. I thought it was an animatronic right before the laughing place dropped, but I couldn't really tell. It went by so fast.
No, so then you go and you go through laughing place, all this stuff, and you end up going up the final lift hill eventually.
Yep. Yeah, it looks
Take your big plunge.
fantastic. And then I was really excited to see what the end scene would look like, because that's one of my favorite parts of Splash, when you're there and you have the the boat and everybody playing music and dancing and having fun. I thought they did a very good job. It looks like it's in front of this part I couldn't tell. Were we in front of a mansion?
It's like it's their house in something Bayou.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, everything looked very vibrant, very cool, very colorful, lots of music, lots of things going on. It looked like a very, very good ending scene.
They could have gotten away with just reusing the riverboat.
Right. I was thinking that. That's what I was wondering. But no, I think it looked like a mansion. It looked like they were like...
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It has that sort of French Quarter ironwork and all that stuff, even though they're in the middle of a bayou somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why they live in the middle of a bayou.
I mean, there's also hills, but we're not getting into that.
Yeah. And then, the end... I'll say that the main questions I have, okay, there is a time during the ride that seems like you're just looking at crates of food for a while, and it's a little, I think until you see the animal band for the first time, it's a little slow. There's There's like a 6-foot privacy fence just with stuff painted on it. It just didn't. There are parts of it that I was like, I'm not sure what's going on. I love that ride. At Splash Mountain, and I love it for not just the storytelling, but the ride experience. So the ride experience is very much the same. That part felt I just felt things were a little slow. They were starting to lose me until you get to the animal band. Mm-hmm. And then I'm not really introduced to why there's an animal band, but I don't care because I just like it. It's good. The storyline of going to this party is sort of also learning about food, and I don't know. I felt like they had an opportunity to tell the story of the Princess and the Frog, and they chose not to. I have to think that that's because it just didn't work. Mm-hmm. Whatever they came up with for it just didn't work, of retelling the story of the Princess and the Frog. I think probably they had to explain why you're in a giant hill.
I know why Disney Dark Rides originally just retold the story, just on a dark ride, but I like the idea of being introduced to characters and going through new stories or new journeys with them. I like the idea of what Tiana's doing. I like, Guardians of the Galaxy is a new adventure. It's not like rehashing a movie. I kind of like seeing that from a different point of view.
But if you...
I think the Frozen ride, to a degree, did that too. I mean...
The new Frozen ride is a frame-by-frame, scene-by-scene... The one in Tokyo. Like a scene-by-scene retelling of the movie.
Right,
basically.
No, but ours is not. Ours is just hanging out with the characters for a boat ride.
Yeah, you still get, going to Elsa's castle. And
right, and there's no... And what I like about that too, I mean, there's no real antagonist there either, right? It's just kind of... I mean, I guess not really. No, I mean, it's very chill. What I was going to say, though, is there is a second Mama Odie animatronic at the very, very end where Bear Rabbit was. But if we're being honest, though, to what you said, Splash Mountain doesn't have much going on until you get to that same point either. I mean, it's just going through
Mr. Bluebird
stuff. Yeah. So I don't think there's a big difference. I think both of them are a slow lead up in a pretty long ride.
I think at the beginning, what you had in Splash Mountain that was endearing was you sort of see how the animals live with these little houses and little laundry hanging out and this cute little stuff, and now you have crates of food.
Okay.
Right? So I think it's okay. I'm not hating this ride. I am very excited for this ride to be back in operation, and if for no other reason to take a load off of all the other rides and ease the crowding a little bit. It's going to bring crowds for a while. But I think that they were under a lot of pressure that if you're going to do this, it's not this move to make this change didn't come without a lot of argument from people. And so if you're going to do it, you need to do it. You need to make sure you do it right. Mm-hmm. And so the animatronics they used are amazing. I don't know how many animatronics there are. There's a lot of new figures that they have created. But I know that you can feel there's a lot of pressure that you better get it right.
Yeah.
Because I think I said on the news today, I think people who were prepared to hate it already hated it, and they're going to hate it. Mm-hmm. And people that were prepared to love it. And people with an open mind, I think, will really like it.
I think so.
And some people will be like, oh, whatever. And I think I'm like an open-minded person I'm prepared to say, all right, it looks like it's going to be a good time. It looks fun. These animatronics look great. There's a lot of cool stuff. And I'm ready to close the book on the Splash Mountain chapter of that facility and welcome Tiana and her friends. I think it looks just as fun as the old one, just a different story.
Yeah, once I ride it, I'll be able to give a better take on it. But that's my hope anyway. My hope is that I come away feeling that this is an enjoyable experience, right? Like this is something I want to ride again and again, just like I did Splash Mountain. And it's cliche to say at this time, but it's like we just don't replace what you're taking away with something worse. Don't downsize it. Don't degrade it. And they by all accounts they didn't here. So the story matters. The theme matters. I think it has it here. I think everything looks in place. I don't know. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see it in person because that's when you'll get the real feeling. Like the music, the everything being engrossed in it. So
no, I guess we'll see. I have a preview coming up. I'm very excited to check it out.
Yeah.
What else is going on? Let's see. We have we got a preview of the Mickey and Friends meet and greet at Communicore Hall, the Mickey and Friends area. They posted a video on Instagram, and I don't know if we have it, but it's the exposure for it is weird. So a typical way that you might do a news story on this is you take screenshots from their video to post in an article so people see what this is going to look like.
Right.
And the pictures don't look great. Overexposed, kind of weird coloring, all this kind of stuff. Like they didn't do a great job setting up their camera to do this. There is a very simple backdrop, which is a stylized version of the Imagination Pavilion behind you with a kind of monorail track going in front of it. And it's very small. It doesn't look like they pulled out all the stops for this, but it's just a meet and greet.
Right. Is this supposed to be a like swappable meet and greet, or is it like always Mickey and Minnie?
No, Goofy is also shown there in the video. So the ones that have been teased are Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy.
Right.
I imagine they can rotate in any of the Fab 5 or 6, depending on how you count. Ducks with no pants or Pluto or whatever. But right now what they teased was Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy. Yeah. So, I meet and greets aren't my thing, so it's not. I don't have strong feelings about it. Mm-hmm. I think it's good to have again, like a nice permanent location for them.
Have you seen the Disney Springs drone show in person?
No. Did you?
Yeah. It's pretty spectacular. I like it a lot. I have no idea what people are saying about it out there. I don't usually read all the comments because I really only care about myself. But
honesty is one of your virtues.
Look, the people are going to argue about everything. I really don't care. But I'm curious what people think. Just from the standpoint, I love it. I mean, I know there's going to be haters out there, but I'm just curious where the public opinion is on this. I mean, you've watched videos, right? Maybe.
Yeah. Didn't we talk last week about the missed opportunity?
Oh yeah.
Putting Mufasa up there.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. You had to watch it. So I mean, in person, I think it's spectacular. It's a great addition. It's not meant to be, something that is a destination viewing, but I'm gonna go see it a few times while it's there. It's pretty darn cool. I didn't go on opening day, and I'm glad I didn't. No. That was a sea of humanity.
Pants,
oh my goodness, that was nuts.
Yeah, I will go. Someone told me that someone that came to pick up a Gertie told me that they went to Haleo, and then Haleo let them linger on their back patio there for the drone show, and now Haleo very smartly has started like a tasting experience.
Ooh, a drone tasting.
Yeah, so that they can kind of cash in on this a little bit. So I think that sounds like a great way to do it. Though. Just go to Haleo, eat some amazing food, and sit there and watch the drones.
Let's do it. That sounds cool. I'm curious, like one of the things I'd like to do, and I'm probably not ambitious to actually do this, but I'd like to maybe think I'm going to do this, is try to view it from different locations, right? So you mentioned like Saratoga Springs. What does it look like from over there?
From the backside.
Yeah.
Backside of drones.
The backside of drones, right? The amazing seventh wonder of the world, right? The backside of drones. It'd be cool to see different viewing areas and what might work and what might.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with me going to see it.
Top of Paddlefish, that might be a nice little place, right? Could you see it from there?
Yeah, it's pretty far from there, but I think you could see it.
Far, yeah.
It starts with me going to see it. I was at Springs the other day, and I just didn't stay late. Right? When you have company and you're like, okay, we got to do this, we're kind of hustling around to make sure that we get all of our boxes checked. That my least favorite way to do a Disney vacation, but sometimes you got to hustle for the benefit of others. And so I will see it, and I've watched the video numerous times. It's got over 100,000 views on our channel. It's very popular. It's really cool what they can do. And like I said before, there's going to be a time in our society in a few years when people are like, meh. Drone show, seen it all, done it all, but right now it's pretty exciting to see what they can and are willing to accomplish.
I know, again, it would be far away, but I'm just thinking of interesting sky places to view it. Are there any rooftop locations, like where you can see that area of Disney Springs
The
from?
Orange Garage.
Oh, well, yeah, from the garages.
Splitsville has an upstairs that I don't think it's open air. Maybe the back porch of House of Blues would be good.
Because that's what I was saying. Paddlefish, that's the only rooftop area.
You can see it from there, I'll bet.
Yeah.
It's just probably not great.
Yeah.
You know? There are a few other places that we can experiment with.
All right.
The NBA experience would have been a fantastic place to watch it from.
Now, is it just happen once a night? I don't even know. Like, it's
9
multiple?
and 10, 15.
Two of them? 9 and 10, 15? Yeah. Okay.
Something like that, I think.
All right. That's cool.
Limited time, but let's see if they keep it.
Yeah.
I guess their tenants will tell them whether or not they're seeing an uptick in business.
Yeah.
And decide if they're going to. Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Coca-Cola.
That might be good. I don't know. You're right.
mean, it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff coming up. We've talked about it before. We talked about it last week. I leave for the Disney cruise this week. But I have been assured that the island is complete.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's not an island. It's on an island, but it's not their own island.
Oh,
but
okay.
it is. They posted on LinkedIn like a photo and like congrats to the team on a completion of Lookout. What's it called?
Lighthouse Point.
Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
Oh, that's the whole name. Yeah.
Or Lighthouse Point at Lookout Key. One of the two things. And I'm excited to check it out. And I get to go on my favorite Disney cruise ship, the Magic.
Yeah. So when is that? That's
Thursday.
Thursday. Oh,
well,
wow. Okay.
I'll be on the island Friday, but Thursday we leave.
All right.
So
what about next week's podcast?
So I will be back on.
Oh, we'll do it when you get back.
I'll be back on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, okay. So 3-day
and
cruise.
Tom will be here.
3-day cruise.
Maybe you and Tom should do the podcast.
What?
How fun would that be?
I don't know.
To have a day off. I'll play video games or something. No, Tom will be here. Tom's got a busy week, right? Because Fantasy Springs opens on Thursday. Not that Tom hasn't already seen everything in Fantasy Springs a couple times over, but it's the official opening. You want to be there for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then he's flying here. He'll be here on the 8th through the, 12th or something like that. He'll be here for 4 or 5 days. And then he's back to Japan until D23 in August.
Oh, okay. Was he going to California somewhere in there? Or
maybe.
did that already happen?
He already did that.
That already happened. Okay.
Yeah, he already did that. And maybe he's going to California again for D23.
Right.
So, yeah, there are 2 times when he's returning with a California stop wedged in. So,
that's great.
Very exciting times
That would be interesting.
ahead.
Or the 3 of us.
Yeah, we could probably fit another microphone in here somehow.
We could do it.
We've done 3 people
Jake
before.
can do everything.
Jake can do everything. Also, I have Mark Bricky. Hey, Bricky.
Right.
He's going to be in town. We're
All
going
right.
to sit down. We might do a pre-recorded one or something for a later release. Very exciting times.
Nice.
It's very exciting times to be a theme park fan.
Whenever you say, hey, Bricky, I think he's like a Lego enthusiast.
He's not. His last name is just Bricky.
Yeah.
It would be a good name if you were really good with Lego, though.
Great name. Yeah.
All right. So before we go, I want to talk to you really quickly.
Lightning round.
Yeah. Let's do top 2. First of all, your top 2 sit-down restaurants on Disney property.
Top 2 sit-down restaurants, full-service restaurants. We're not counting lounges, right? Like we're talking restaurants. Okay. I am probably gonna go with off the top of my head, kind of going around here. Let me throw out Ale and Compass automatically comes to mind. I absolutely love Ale and Compass. Ale and Compass is one of the most diverse restaurants for me too, because their breakfast is outstanding and their lunch and dinner is just as good. So I love that one because anytime I go, I know I'm getting a great meal. The other one that came to mind right away would be, oh my goodness. Apparently it didn't come to mind right away. No, why am I drawing a blank? What the heck is the name of the restaurant in the Animal Kingdom right next to Nomad Lounge?
Tiffin's.
Tiffin's, thank you. Tiffin's comes to mind right away so without really thinking about it, although I did think about it a bit, those are my 2, I think.
What is your favorite menu item at Tiffin's?
Oh my gosh.
Tiffin's is a fairly adventurous menu.
Well, they have a different thing all the time, don't they? They change it up way too often. I mean, it would have to be the Gobi Manchurian, even though I could technically order that at Nomad Lounge. But anything I get there is fantastic. I really can't remember the last dish because I know they have a seasonal menu where they change it up pretty often. At least every time I go, there's new stuff on there. And then, the Ale and Compass, shrimp and grits. They do the best shrimp and grits on property. Absolutely. Just absolutely love what they do there.
Here's the thing about Ale and Compass. There's always availability.
There is. That's cool too, right? Like, I love it.
Yeah. It's like, it tells me it's unknown. I did eat at Trattoria this week.
Yeah.
I love their breakfast. I think Trattoria has a fantastic breakfast. Their dinner, I was not super impressed with, and it was very expensive. For 3 people with supposedly a 40% discount, the ladies each had like a quartino of wine. It's still over $200, or still about $200. It's a little high for my taste. But if you're spending money, for my money, the best restaurant I've eaten at Disney World is Flying Fish.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. 100%. That probably replaces, I'd say, Tusker House.
Yeah.
There we go.
I've walked past.
See, I knew I was in my mind trying to run around to every single resort, like,
I put you on a spot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other one I thought of is Sci-Fi, but that's like 80% of that is atmosphere.
Right.
The food is fine, but
Passable.
80% of why I love that place is atmosphere.
I've walked past Flying Fish 100 times for every time I've eaten there, but every time I'm blown away.
You're 100% right. That is. Sorry, I didn't come up with that faster. That is the number one restaurant. Every time I go there, I have one of the best meals of my life. And I do like that one because you can go in there and go up to the bar too and get some of the menu items there and some of the drinks. They do fantastic drinks, fantastic food. Yeah. All right, there we go.
Yeah, that's a good one. Now, I've eaten at Kappa a number of times, and it does have a Michelin star. I really like Kappa, but I'm not sure that it has done anything that sets it apart from other restaurants I've been to that are just fancy restaurants.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. I've only been there once, but like I had the same kind of experience. I'm like, okay, but if I'm gonna spend a good amount of money on meal, it has to be Flying Fish. That is just that good.
All right, well, we have to go to Flying Fish one of these days.
Yeah.
One of these days when all the cruises are over and Tom's back from Japan and we're back into a routine, we go to Flying Fish.
Yeah. That's always, if I'm celebrating something, that is the restaurant I choose. Like every time. I love that place.
All right. And my last question to you, put you on the spot. Let me think.
Top 2.
The best e-ticket ride at Walt Disney World.
The best or my favorite?
I'll let you have both. I'll let you describe both. First, best.
I've always had a little bit of like recency bias in me. One of my favorite attractions is probably Tron. I love that so much. Honestly, it's hard to even choose between Tron and Guardians. I love those 2 coasters so much. And I think, like I said, part of it's recency bias. I don't think they're the best. They're not even really my favorite overall all time. But like right now, they're kind of my favorite, probably because they're newish. So yeah, I've ridden them less than some of my good old favorites. My classic all-time favorite, and I'm pretty sure this is an e-ticket attraction, is Spaceship Earth, right? That's an e-ticket attraction, right?
You can call it. I mean, I would say e-ticket. I would say like something where everybody waits in a very long line for it. But yeah, Spaceship Earth. You could just say it's your favorite.
Yeah, okay. All right. I never knew, I know we call things e-ticket attractions. I never know Disney doesn't officially delineate anything that's a fan label at this point.
I think
right?
Disney probably uses it internally when they're like designing. I think like if Bob Iger calls WDI and he's like, "Hey guys, I need an e-ticket
Yeah.
for Avengers Campus. Everybody knows what that means,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
He's not, if he calls and says, I need a new ride and make it good, they're going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're counting Spaceship Earth, that's my favorite right now. But I think I really do think, and I hear it time and time again. The reason I personally favor Tron a little bit more than Guardians, I immensely enjoy both. My biggest problem with Guardians is I know too much about what should have been, what could have been, and that hurts it a little bit for me. But every single person I know that rides that ride comes off of it and says, wow, this is one of the best rides I've ever been on at Disney World. Wow. And everybody loves it so much that I enjoy it a lot too. So
I think Tron has an exhilarating first like 10, 15 seconds. And then the rest I'm just kind of like, let's get this. Yeah, just kind of zooming through some gates. I do the anticipation and the sensation of the launch is otherworldly on Tron. I feel like better than Rock and Roller Coaster, better than Hulk, better than Velocicoaster even. To me, I just feel like you're really hauling the mail for a while, right? Before you even go outside, like that flat launch seems to go on for like endless acceleration for a while. I think you feel on a test track, right? When you really feel the speed on test track when you hit the banks. I don't think Test Track is a great ride, but I think it's a great ride system that could be a great ride, like Cars is.
Yeah.
Like Journey to the Center of the Earth in Tokyo allegedly is, according to everyone but me, because I haven't been there. I have a hard time, every time I ride Flight of Passage, I have a hard time getting off that and not saying it's the best ride at Disney World.
I get you. That's one of those attractions for whatever reason, because I think it's I'm going to say, it's decently old now. I mean, it's been around a while at this point. I almost take it for granted.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. It's kind of like the flying fish of rides. I forget about it when you ask me, but yeah, as soon as I get off of it, I'm like, oh, that was so good.
It is. It's so good. My only problem with Flight of Passage is that I don't develop a deep connection with it. I don't know if it's because it came out when I was much older as an adult or what, but like there's something about the characters and the feel of a place like Pirates or Haunted Mansion or even Twilight Zone Tower of Terror that connect with you, that you feel like a little bit more like a part of it, even though literally that's what Flight of Passage is you becoming part of the ride. I don't have the same, like, if I see merchandise from it, it's not like I'm like, ooh, I got to have that. Where sometimes the pirate stuff here, every now and then you're like, ooh. Ooh, did you see that new Haunted Mansion thing, Nick? Did you see a new Pirates thing? Like, those are the ones that are indelible because of the theme and the storytelling and all those things. Even with the controversial changes they made to the storytelling, I think it's still like there's still a connection that a kid or even an adult can make to that ride that makes you feel like you kind of have a part ownership stake in this thing. And so that's it for me. I think it's Flight of Passage is the best ride, and my favorite ride is Pirates or Haunted Mansion.
Okay, yeah. I for my entire life, like as long as they've been around, I guess, which has been a long time. I mean, Spaceship Earth and Splash Mountain were my two favorite rides always. And so it'd be very interesting to see if Tiana like kind of keeps it there in my top.
I think it should.
I think so too.
I think it should, because the ride itself walks the perfect line between you're not quite afraid, but there's anticipation still.
Right.
There's a story being told, but also you're thinking about that drop a few beats ahead of time. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not, this is not going up the top hat of Velocicoaster or launching on Tron or going upside down on Rock and Roller Coaster or falling in Tower of Terror. Those are more like they tap into a sort of mortal sense of survivability that you might have. But like you go up there and you're just like, okay, there's no turning back now.
Yeah.
I like that. And there are other flume rides that have done that throughout my life, but I think that ride in particular does it perfectly.
Sure.
There's a perfect blend of like thrills and laughing and fun and exhilaration and then release on that ride that I think are perfectly timed.
Yeah. One of the interesting things whenever anybody asks me like these questions about favorite or best or whatever, I I always come back to Spaceship Earth and Splash Mountain because they've always been there. There are other rides where I do become prisoner of the moment and really love it for a period of time. And then it's like, okay, it kind of settled back down into second tier maybe. And I'm wondering, Tron and Guardians, I think will eventually do that because I don't think those will hold my attention for that long. But while they're still kind of fresh and new, they're still the first ones that come to mind. But, it's that Splash, it's that Space Mountain that will kind of always be there. So I do hope, that's why I'm really rooting for Tiana. I'm going in with an open mind. And by all accounts, it looks amazing. And
we're almost there.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Nick, thanks again for being on.
Yeah.
I would have you back 100 times.
I will be back 100 times.
Cool. Then we'll go to Flying Fish.
Next week alone.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot for joining us, everyone. Really, I really appreciate it. We don't ask people to subscribe properly. I feel like I'm supposed to stop in the middle and be like, we're going to get to an exciting discussion. But first, a word about subscribing to my channel, all that stuff. I don't love doing that, but I am asking you, if you watch this, you enjoy the content, and you subscribe, I appreciate it. If you don't subscribe, I would appreciate you subscribing if you feel so inclined. And go support our partners at Park Candy. You get snazzy shirts like this. You get a good deal. If you go to parkcandy.com, you use the code WDWNT, you get 15% off. And they're always working on new designs, and I like this one, inspired by...
Oogie Boogie. I've heard a rumor that subscription rates have doubled since Nick joined the podcast.
I just did our YouTube stats for our management meeting, and I will share them with you offline.
By doubled, I mean plummeted.
No, it's okay. Everything's fine. We're all fine. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time on the WDW News Today podcast.
See you real soon.
Bye-bye.
Maybe. Hopefully.